Now, when it comes to taking these spoke nipples off, we'll call them, got here a great big Phillips screwdriver. 2 hands, and give it a twist. And do this one. 2 hands, give it a twist. Now, I'm not taking them, loosening them right off, like undoing them completely. I'm just getting rid of that torque. Why? I don't know if it makes any difference or not in the truing or untruing, but I will tell you that the more spokes you do, the looser these become. And I just go along the whole rim one at a time. I will be sending this away to have the rim retrued. What I'm going to do is I'm taking it all apart so it looks like that, marking it so I know where my powder coat's going to go, and then I'm going to reassemble it back to this stage where my hub is really loose, get everything not tight but snug, and then I'll send them off to be trued, so that'll save the other guy a bunch of labor and me a bunch of money. That's all. So I've gone and taken off most of the spoke nipples. You can see all my spokes are loose and free. Got a few more to do. You can see my hub is really loose. Not a lot holding it together. Screw it from here. Now, because this bike is fairly new, these nipples are fairly easy to take off. I did see 1 or 2 of my spokes where they were a little bit rusted, but if I would have waited a year or 2 to do this, I would probably be replacing all my spokes and nipples, because they would just be rusted and way too hard to take out. So now the plan is, I've got all my spoke nipples off, all my spokes are loose. It's not going to be perfect, but I should be able to just straighten out my knees here, wiggle this, and have all my spokes. I'm probably doing this really difficult way. You tire guys are probably laughing at me, but hey, only way you're going to learn. Take all the spokes out from the outer rim best you can. And there's the hub. Oh, sorry, there's the rim. Here's my hub. Now, I'm not taking my spokes out of my hub because there's really no point. I'm not anodizing my hub. I'm not changing bearings or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to leave my spokes in because I'm pretty sure these bends are different, and I know there's 3 different lengths of spokes, so chances are there's 3 different lengths of bend. So this is finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that aside. Now these are ready to mark them up, tape them up so I know which way I'm getting powder coating done. And after I do get this all powder coated, it is going to have to get rebalanced. So these stick-on weights are coming off regardless. So stay tuned for the next half of this video. Welcome back, Kingdom fans. Today I'm assembling my rim and my hub assembly together after I got them all powder coated all nice. What I've done is I took lots of pictures and everything is marked. You'll see after later in the videos, you see all my spokes are all marked and all numbered, so I know where they go according to the rim itself. That's why this ugly writing and stuff is here. But for now, to get the rim to fit over top of the hub and all the spoke assemblies, because I'm not taking the spokes out, that's just way too much work, and they're different length of spoke and different bends and stuff. Anyway, so what I do is I've pushed all these in just a little bit, not much, but enough to give me clearance so that when I take my rim, I can just set it right over top. Oh, where's my air valve? Right like so. So I don't scratch it. Scratch my powder coating and the rims. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to space up the rim on here and start threading the spokes through the holes. It might be kind of hard to see, but I've got all my spokes labeled. I'm going to take the M spoke, stick it through the M hole, and just get them started nice and loose. Just a couple threads, and I'm going to go along the whole rim, just get them all loose so the hub won't fall off, and then I'll go on to the next step. Now I've got all my spokes all laced in. I've got all the nuts on there, just really loose. The next step is fancy Phillips screwdriver and just turning them in. I don't know if you can tell, but just leaving about, where is it? About 3 threads left over. And go along every spoke and just tighten them up till you get about 3 threads. And as you're doing this, make sure that your spokes are set flat so you don't accidentally bind the spokes or change the bends. But you can see all my fancy labeling paid off. I started at one point, the air valve, and I labeled them, and I just went, every single one has a number up to 36. I think there's 36 spokes. Anyway, that's what worked for me. It went together like a piece of cake. I'll tighten everything up, and then we'll go on to truing the rim. What I've done now is I made myself a little truing stand. All it is just a bolt through the hub and a vise bolted to the table, and a nut and a washer on each side, just enough to hold it straight. And as a benchmark, because I don't have cones going in either side to make sure it's 100%, I'm using my brake rotor disc as a 0. So I know that I'm not off this way. Just holding a little, doesn't matter what it is, a little pencil or a pen, and just run it along like this. There's not very much, I don't have any way of measuring precisely, but there's not a whole lot of gap. So I know that my bolts, my mandrel bolt is centered straight through the hub. Now the next thing is do the same thing. Take a pencil, put it here up against the rim like so, and just spin it and check for run out. If the rim is rubbing against here on this side but not against that side, you grab one of these spokes and you tighten it up with the wrench just a little bit till it's snug. And if it's too tight, you loosen off the other side. And you just keep going around and around. And once you get this done, then you check this way. It's all pretty basic, pretty simple. I watched a couple of YouTube videos and I managed to figure it out and get it done quite simply. Hour and a half to do. That's all. On to the next video.